Hey guys, welcome to Tabletop Warbands! We are finally back! I know it's been a long time without videos, but October was a really terrible month for us. This means we have a lot to catch up. Let's start with our first game in the new kill team Into the Dark. In today's video we play Krieg against Adepta Sororitas. I'm Simone and I play the Astra.
Hi, I'm Andrea and I will play the Sisters. Before we started, if you're subscribed to the channel, welcome back. If you're not subscribed yet and want to help us, join a growing community now by clicking on the subscribe button. And don't forget to activate the bell so you don't miss the next battle reports. Thank you guys!
Today's mission is Subsidence. The two kill teams will have to deploy within these two areas. There are 4 objectives and they are arranged in this way. At the end of the game, the players who control the objectives earn victory points. Objectives 1 and 2 are worth 4 victory points, while objectives 3 and 4 are worth 2 victory points.
For this mission, each time an operative does a dash action, it can move 1 inch more as long as it finishes the move closer to this border. Also, each time an operative moves, if it doesn't finish that move within 1 inch of a terrain feature, roll a d6. On a 1 to 3, that operative is treated as being injured until the end of its activation. The player with the most victory points at the end is the winner. The game will last 4 turns. Both armies start with 2 common points, earning 1 point at the start of each round.
A group of Krieg's rebels have managed to locate a drifting vessel and after boarding it are preparing to search for treasures that they can resell on the black market. Apparently, however, they are not the only ones wandering through the ship's tunnels. Members of the Adepta Sororitas are blocking their way by claiming that a relic of theirs is present on the ship and are unwilling to give it away. Well, no problem, the Sisters' armor also sells well on the black market. The kill team is made up of 10 veteran Guardsman operatives and 1 ancillary support option. The leader of the kill team is a veteran sergeant armed with plasma pistol and power weapon. His second in command is the Confidant veteran armed with a Boltgun. He'll take the lead in case something happens to the leader. Heavy weapons are handled by 3 gunner veterans armed with a flamer, a plasma gun and a meltagun. The other kill team operatives are medic, zealot, demolition, sniper and spotter. As ancillary support, I have chosen trooper veterans, which allows me to deploy 4 additional trooper operatives. The leader has chosen 4 Cadians as support. The kill team has 10 points to spend on equipment. I assigned a Rosary to the Zealot, a Chronometer to the leader, a Topographical chart and a hand axe to the Confidant.
After losing a very important relic during a battle, the Adepta Sororitas managed to locate an abandoned ship, which, according to some informants, has that relic on the cargo manifest. But obviously, the Sisters are not alone on that ship. Retrieve the relic at all costs and eliminate all those who will try to separate you from your objective. The Adepta Sororitas kill team is made up of 10 novitiate operatives. Leading the team, Novitiate Superior Mary armed with plasma pistol and power weapon. The other team members are a Novitiate Dialogus and an Exactor to keep the others in line. A Penitent who wants to atone for her sins through combat together with a Duelist. A Novitiate Hospitaller to take care of the Sisters, a Pronatus to inspire them and a Reliquarius to keep their spirits up. Then a Purgatus to warm up the atmosphere a little and a Novitiate Condemnor to send the Emperor's greetings to the enemies. As additional equipment, I gave the Chaplet Ecclesiasticus to the Novitiate Superior and the Duelist, which gives them the possibility to roll a d6 when they activate, and with 6, they gain an additional APL. Then I gave the Adamantine with Surplice to the Duelist, the Reliquarius and the Purgatus. They have a save characteristic of 3+.
I have deployed my models in 2 squads in order to cover both the left flank in the corridor and the right side leading to the center of the battlefield. My leader will lead the left group, while the Confidant will support the other. I must be able to exploit my numerical superiority and overwhelm the Sisters with the volume of fire at my disposal.
I have deployed my operatives in 2 groups. One is more melee based, while the other is more shooting based. On the right, we have the Duelist and the Penitent who need to hide as long as possible to avoid getting targeted too early. On the other side, there's the Superior with the Plasma Pistol, the Condemnor, and the Purgatus who will try to stop the Kriegs from reaching the objectives.
It's time to do the scouting phase. Each of us chooses a number of dice equal to the corresponding number of the choice. 1 for Fortify, 2 for Infiltrate and 3 for Recon. Green dice for the Kriegs and red dice for the Sisters. I chose Recon while Andrea chose Fortify. This means that the initiative will be mine.
Being the defender, I have to start the scouting phase first, so I place the barrier here to have more cover.
Having chosen Recon in the scouting phase, I can move my demolition guy 3 inches towards the corridor entrance. Then, thanks to my topographical chart, I can do a second scouting option and I choose Fortify. I place my barrier next to objective 3 in order to facilitate the control of the marker. In the strategy phase, I don't play any strategic ploy, foreseeing a first turn of movement. Then I reveal 2 TAC Ops, Central Control and Protect Assets. To earn the victory points for these TAC Ops, I will need to have the most APLs within 3 inches of the center of the battlefield, and eliminate 2 enemy models within a circle of an objective.
In this turn, I don't need to reveal my TAC Ops, and since I believe there will be no action, I don't use any ploy.
In this phase, my leader Todd gives the order move, move, move to all models within 6 inches of him, increasing their movement by triangle. The first model to activate is Noah, the Demolition, who moves near the door in the middle of the corridor and kneels to place a mine in front of it. Better be sure we don't have any surprises from here. Then he completes the action with a free dash to get to safety.
The first sister to activate is Margaret, who moves beside the wall, and with the second action, she raises the relic. Being 6 inches from the enemy drop zone, she gains 3 fate points instead of 2.
The spotter, Miguel, precedes his group and moves forward to open the door that leads to the central room. For now, no enemy in sight.
Ginevra, the Dialogus, gives an APL to the Condemner with the action Stirring Rhetoric, and then moves near the Pronatus.
Wilson, the sniper, takes advantage of the open door to run towards the center of the room. By doing movement and dash, with the order move, move, move and the rule of the game that grants him 1 additional inch on the dash in this direction, Wilson can reach objective 3 with his 11 inches of movement.
Sister Elizabeth, the Condemner, goes to open the door in front of her, and thanks to the additional APL, she can keep moving towards the objective 4.
Lucius uses movement and dash to get himself into the other room, next to the barrier, with 11 inches of movement.
The Purgatus, also known as Lilith, uses movement and dash to exit the room and hides behind the wall.
Confidant orders the plasma guy to activate after him, then follows his companions into the other room with movement and dash. Since the ship is leaning to one side, models that finish a move or dash more than an inch from a scenery piece must roll a dice, and on 1-3 are injured until the end of their activation. The Confidant finished the movement next to the wall, but the dash took him in the middle of the room, so he has to roll the dice. In this case, the Confidant is injured, but he does not have to do other actions, so it's not a problem. Herlick follows the Confidant's order and takes action. He too runs with movement and dash, positioning himself next to his superior. He would also roll the dice because he's away from scenery, but having finished the actions, he doesn't need to roll it because the injury goes away at the end of his activation.
Mary, the sister superior, follows the Purgatus and hides in the corner behind the wall.
Solomon the Flamer runs as fast as he can and reaches the door. Are you sure you want to stop next to the mine, buddy?
Ellen, the Reliquarius, uses movement and dash to position herself in the middle of the hallway.
Rita is activated and quickly walks the part of the corridor that brings her next to her companions. For now, nothing to report, sir.
Like the others, Teresa uses movement and dash to exit the room.
Walid, with movement and dash, reaches the rest of his team. Being GA2, Torvi is also activated, following his partner in the middle of the room. Still no sisters in sight.
Sister Edith, the Duelist, uses movement and dash to reach the hatch at the end of the corridor.
Todd, the leader, has to keep an eye on his men, so he heads into the corridor but stays further back, away from the mine.
Brigitta, the Exactor, activates and does the action Whip into Frenzy on the Penitent to give her an additional 2 inches of movement, then moves near Ginevra.
A good medic must always be close to his teammates, so Lara enters the corridor too.
The last sister to activate is Dolores, which, thanks to the increased movement, manages to reach the center of the battlefield and prevents the Krieg to take the first victory points for the TAC Hope.
The last ones left to activate are Lester and Orson. Being GA2, I can activate both. In order not to be left behind, they move in the corridor next to their leader. The first round was rather quiet, devoid of any kind of event, but it is evident that it's the calm before the storm. My models have positioned themselves and are ready to bring fire and flames to the sisters. The next round is going to be a lot of fun.
Exactly as I imagined, nothing happened. Simone, however, has many operatives in the corridor beside my models, so I have to try to take control of the hatch to prevent Simone from flanking me. Let's see who will prevail in the next round. Rolling for initiative.
It's a bit low.
Mine too. Try again?
Yeah, of course the same roll again.
5. I believe the initiative is mine.
Nope, thanks to my chronometer, I can repeat the dice roll once per battle. Yes, much better. Okay, the initiative is yours.
Told ya, I spent 1 command point for the strategic ploy Eyes of the Emperor, which until the end of the turn removes the range special rule of every pistol in my team.
I use the strategic ploy Take Cover for 1 command point. The save characteristic of my models in cover is improved by 1.
Then I reveal the Taco Protect Assets, which gives me 1 victory point if I manage to eliminate 2 enemies near an objective marker.
I reveal my last Taco, Stand Fast. If at the end of the turn I control 2 or more objectives and control more than the sisters, I gain a victory point. After that, Todd issues the order Take Aim. Models within 6 inches of him can reroll the ones in shooting attacks.
Ginevra is the first operative to activate. She gives an APL to the Exactor and then uses her action Auto Broadcaster. I place a condemning sermon within 6 inches of this operative, and every enemy model within 2 inches from this token has the ballistic skill lowered by 1. Then I place the token near the hatch to protect my operatives.
The sniper changes the order in Conceal to take advantage of his silent rule, then targets the Reliquarius and makes 4 shots at 2+. All hit but no critical hits.
Saving with 3 dice at 3+, thanks to the Adamantine Weave. Not a good start. Fortunately, I have Fate points. I spend 2 for the Act of Fate Divine Shield to retain 1 failed save as success. Then I reroll the other with a common point. Better! All saved, but still 3 wounds through. Sister Brigitta with her 3 actions at disposal moves towards the edge, opens it and then whips the flamer in the hallway, making 5 attacks at 3+. I spend 2 more fate points for the Act of Fate Guiding Light to retain a failed attack roll as success. This means that she hits with 2 crits and 2 normal hits.
3 dice to defend at 5+. Ah, not one is saved. Yeah, well, I'd say the flamer is the first eliminated model of the game. Eventually, the surprise from the door arrived. Rita sees her friend slumped to the ground and decides to react before ending up the same way. Grabbing the meltagun, the gunner walks through the door and shoots the penitent in front of her. 4 shots at 4+. Oh, this is a good roll!
You think? With just the mortal wounds of the critical hits, my penitent is dead. No need to roll the dice. Bad luck, Dolores. Maybe you'll expiate your sins next time. Elizabeth moves a little to have a better view and then shoots silently to the enemy plasma gun, making 4 attacks at 3+. Well, I need a better roll, so I spend 4 fate points for the acts Fateful Blessing to reroll a dice, and Vengeful Strike to retain a successful hit as a critical hit. Rerolling the 2 again. 1 crit and 1 normal hit.
With -1 penetration, I can only roll 2 dice at 5+. Perfect! Both saved! Let's go! However, the crit inflicts 2 mortal wounds, so the plasma is left with 5 wounds. Better than dead. Hurlig is not happy about being hit, so he moves to cover behind the pipes and returns fire by targeting the Reliquarius and making 4 shots at 4+. I use a command point to reroll the 2 again. Yeah.
Saving with 2 dice because of the -1 penetration. Just 1 normal save. With 6 wounds, Ellen would die, but Sister Teresa is ready with her Mantra of Restoration and keeps the Reliquarius alive with 1 wound but lowers both hers and Ellen's APL by 1. Then Ellen dashes towards the Hospitaller. The next operative to activate is Ellen, who uses her only action to move back to safety.
The Confidant orders the Zealot to activate after him, then decides to go exploring and opens the door leading to the main objectives, and enters the room. The Zealot is activated thanks to the order of the Confidant and moves towards the wall to go to contest the central point for my TAC Op.
Margaret activates and does the TAC Op action Plant Signal Beacon. At the end of the battle, if the beacon token is within 6 inches of the enemy drop zone, I score 2 victory points. And here is the token.
Lara the medic runs as fast as she can to try to get to a better position and get away from the mine.
Teresa uses her only action to move in cover behind the barrier.
Torvi is in an exposed position, so she uses movement and dash to safely reach objective 2. Walid instead heads for the center of the battlefield.
Lily changes her order in engage, then moves, and once reached the wall, uses her ability Burn in Advance, which allows her to dash and shoot spending only 1 APL. The Purgatus dashes and sees 3 enemies hiding behind the wall, so she incinerates them. The Flamer has the Torrent special rule, which with the Condensed Environment rules gains the trait Lethal 5. Also, if I retain a critical hit, the target gains an Inferno token. At the end of the round, I roll a d6 for every Inferno token, and with 4+, that operative suffers 1 mortal wound. Lilith's first target is the Cadian. She makes 5 shots at 2+. Wow, just 3 normal hits.
3 dice on 5+. Wow, okay, great dice rolls today. Only 2 wounds. I thought he was going to die.
Let's move on. The second target is the Demolition with 5 shots at 2+. A little better with the crit, but I'm still not satisfied.
Thanks to the cover, I can automatically save a dice, so it's 2 dice at 5. 1 critical and 1 normal hit saved. 4 wounds suffered by the Demolition, plus 1 Inferno token.
The last to hit is the Zealot, who is directly behind the demolition. So, because of the condensed environment rules, I have to roll one less dice. So, 4 shots at 2+. 2 crits and 2 normal hits. That's okay.
The Zealot has 1 dice saved by the cover, plus 2 more dice at 5. A 6! The Zealot can reroll the failed dice. Nope, 1 critical hit and 1 normal hit saved. Furthermore, Lucius decides to shield himself with his fate, and uses the Rosary to ignore the damage suffered by the remaining critical dice. There is an Infernal token though. Time to put the wounds! I honestly thought it was going to be a massacre, but they're all still alive. I can really call myself lucky. Miguel runs across the room and with the movement and dash reaches the wall on the other side.
The Sister Superior activates, and thanks to the Chaplet Ecclesiasticus, I can roll a d6. With 6, Mary gains an additional APL. 6! Nice! Sister Mary uses movement and dash to reach the other wall, and then, with her last action, she shoots the metagun with her plasma pistol. 4 shots at 2+. All hit! Good job, Mary!
Penetration -1, so 2 dice at 5+. Nope, I was almost there though. Too many wounds sustained. Rita didn't expect to find all those sisters on the other side of the door. Goodbye, Rita. Orson is about to take a charge on the duelist, knowing that it will be his end. He just has to hold her back as much as possible. Lester, on the other hand, is less courageous and tries to get to safety by quickly crossing the corridor.
The duelist activates, rolling for the Chaplet Ecclesiasticus. Close, but not enough. No additional APL for Edith. The sister fights with the Cadian, making 4 attacks at 2+. All hit with 2 crits thanks to the Lethal Fight special rule.
Orson makes 3 attacks at 4+. Only a successful attack.
Edith can parry and deal damage with the crit thanks to the special rule Expert Riposte. So she manages to eliminate the Cadian, suffering no wounds.
I was hoping you could hold a little more honestly, but at least you took an action from her, and that's okay.
With her last action, Edith charges the enemy leader.
Noah is injured but tries as best he can to shoot the Purgatus, who is there next to him, making 4 shots at 5+ due to the injury. No, in fact, he is too sore to be able to aim well.
Well, it's time for the Overwatch of my dear Lilith, same as before but with a -1 to hit. Starting with the Cadian, 5 shots at 3+. 2 crits and 1 normal hit.
I need 5+ to save. Oh no, this time he's definitely dead.
Next one, Demolition, 5 shots at 3+ for you as well. 4 crits! Well, he's dead. Let's keep going.
Since he's already injured, there is nothing I can do to save him, given the roll that Andrea made. The medic is within 3 inches of him and decides to intervene. Using his ability, the medic brings the Demolition back to life with only 1 wound. He's not dead yet.
Zealot's turn. 4 shots at 3+. 2 crits and 2 normal hits.
The Zealot saves at 4+ thanks to the ploy used at the beginning of the round, and the cover provided by the poor Noah. 2 dice at 4+. All saved! Great! The remaining critical inflicts 3 wounds, plus another Inferno token. That's it, he's dead, and leaves the battlefield. Noah has 1 wound left, and Lucius has 4. My charged leader decides to take the initiative and attack first, making 4 attacks at 3+ with the power weapon. 2 critical hits and 1 normal hit.
The duelist responds with 4 attacks at 2+, hitting 1 crit and 3 normal hits.
Todd deals damage with the first critical hit.
Edith also deals damage with the crit.
The Krieg eliminates the enemy model with another hit.
It's okay, Edith, you did a great job.
Todd was left with 4 wounds, but having 8 in total is not injured.
Inferno token time. Rolling a dice for each Inferno token on the enemy operatives. Each 4+ is a mortal wound. Rolling for the Demolition first, 2 dice at 4+. 6! He's dead! Now the Zealot, 2 dice at 4+. 1 mortal wound to him as well.
I was sure you would kill him like that. The other one was left with 3 wounds and is injured.
This round could have been better. The Purgatus had really low rolls, but at least she still managed to eliminate 2 operatives and injure the Zealot. So far, Simone has lost 5 operatives, and I'm sure the next round that number will increase a lot more. Since the victory points of this mission are obtainable at the end of the game, I don't need to rush to take the objectives, and I can focus on eliminating the enemy operatives.
As I imagined, the second round was devastating. I have lost a lot of models, but having the numerical superiority, I can bear the losses suffered, while Andrea perceives much more each model that is eliminated. Thanks to the fact that I control 2 objectives and 1 more than my opponent, I earned my first victory point thanks to the tag cope Stand Fast. Next turn, I'll have to try to take out the Purgatus before she makes another bonfire with my men. Rolling for the initiative of the 3rd turn. Okay, it's mine.
The one is always there.
In the strategy phase, I use a command point for Take Cover to improve the save characteristic of models in cover by 1.
I use again the strategic ploy Eyes of the Emperor for 1 command point.
Todd this turn gives the order Move, Move, Move to increase the movement of models near him by 1 inch. I really need to eliminate the Purgatus threat, so Erlich activates and with his plasma gun opens fire on her, making 4 shots at 4+. Okay, I reload dice with a command point. Better. 1 critical hit and 1 normal hit.
-1 penetration, so saving with 2 dice at 3+. Nice! Both saved!
Damn, I thought you could kill her. To prevent her from opening fire again, Erlich charges the Purgatus with his second action.
Sister Mary activates, so I need to roll for the additional APL. Nope. The Sister Superior moves behind the pipes and shoots the enemy medic 4 shots at 2+. Hitting 2 crits and a normal hit.
With -1 penetration, I roll 2 dice at 5+. Just a 5 is not enough. Poor Lara collapses to the ground without another medic to help her.
Since Mary eliminated an enemy operative, she can activate a friendly model within 6 inches of her thanks to the ability Lead by Example. Sister Teresa feels inspired by the superior sections, so she activates. The Hospitaller uses her movement to reach the closed door in front of her and opens it.
The Spotter finally decides to do something useful and charges the Purgatus, then fights, making 3 attacks at 3+, thanks to the support of his partner next to him. All 3 hit!
The Purgatus responds with 3 attacks at 4+. Or maybe she doesn't. With a bayonet in the heart, Lilith collapses to the ground. Elizabeth tries to avenge her friend and shoots 4 shots at 3+ at the wounded Plasma. Well, that's disappointing.
3 dice at 5+. What a fail. If nothing else, it's just 2 wounds. That means he's left with 3 wounds.
With her last action, the Condemnor moves to control the objective 1.
Torvi sees the Condemnor enter the room, then moves to have a full view on her. Being in the middle of the room and far from scenery and having to shoot, I must first take the test to see if she loses her balance. 4+ to pass it. Okay, she manages to stay standing, then opens fire on the sister, making 4 shots at 4+. 1 critical hit and 1 normal hit.
Saving with 3 dice at 4+. Both saved! Nice!
Lester has the sister superior inside and decides to try to eliminate her, making 4 shots at 4+. That's crazy! Perfect shot!
Rolling 3 dice at 3+ to save. Just 1. I spent 2 fate points for the Act of Fate Divine Shield, and a common point to reroll the last dice. All 3 saved. 6 wounds left to Sister Mary.
Then, feeling inspired by his beautiful shot, he decides to charge the Exactor with the second action.
Ginevra charges the Cadian to help her friend in combat and then fights, making 3 attacks at 3+ thanks to the support of the Exactor. Rolling just a crit.
3 dice at 4+. Nope, it was better if you kept shooting. At least you managed to keep her in combat, it's definitely better than what the other Cadian did before. The Confidant gives the order to the sniper to activate after him, then moves a little further to have the objective under control. Wilson the sniper activates and aims his rifle at the Sister Superior, making 4 shots at 2. All hit, including a critical hit that inflicts 3 additional mortal wounds.
Saving with 3 dice at 3+. All saved. But 6 wounds still passes, so Sister Teresa is called once again to save her friends with Mantra of Restoration. The Superior then dashes towards the Hospitaller. Sister Ellen changes her order in Conceal and then moves behind the barrier.
The Zealot moves a bit to be able to lean over the wall and target the Sister Superior. 4 shots at 5+ due to the injury. Just a 5. I don't think that's enough to take her out.
Saving with 3 dice at 3+. Easy! The Pronatus raises the relic once again and gains 3 fate points. Then Margaret moves behind the Exactor.
Todd feels the need to get out of the way and with movement and dash reaches the barrier in the middle of the room.
Brigitta fights with the Cadian in front of her and makes 5 attacks at 2+, hitting 2 crits and 2 normal hits.
It's evident that the Cadians in close combat look quite terrible. Come on, get back on the bench with your friends.
With her last action, the Exactor charges the enemy leader.
This time I managed to get 2 victory points at the end of the round, one for the TACOP Central Control thanks to the control of his central point, and another for the TACOP Stand Fast, as I control 2 objectives and 1 more of the sisters, reaching 3 victory points. The next round will be the last, and I will have to make the most of the positioning of the models to get as many points as possible from the primary objectives. It will be a challenge to the last victory point.
I didn't like how this turn went. The Condemnor isn't doing much and the Sister Superior is almost dead. The next round, I absolutely need to win the initiative, otherwise I could take a lot of casualties. Unfortunately, I still haven't managed to score any victory points, but at least Simone has only 3 and is easily reachable.
Rolling for initiative. A nice 6! Once again the initiative is mine. In the strategy phase, I use a common point for Clear the Line, which allows me to retain a normal hit in combat without rolling the dice.
I spent 2 common points for deploy Defenders of the Faith. At the start of the firefight phase, a friendly operative within 2 inches from an objective can perform a free shoot or fight action if it has an engage order.
Todd gives the order Take Aim, which allows models within 6 inches of him to reroll once in shooting attacks.
Sister Mary starts the firefight phase, shooting with her plasma pistol to the enemy spotter, making 4 shots at 3+ because of the injury. I spent 2 fate points for the Act of Fate Guiding Light, and retain 1 failed shot as success.
Penetration -1, so 2 dice at 5+. Great! He was saved! I wouldn't have expected it. The remaining shot, however, inflicts 5 wounds, leaving him with 2 wounds and the injury. The spotter is injured but can still use his ability. Miguel spots the enemy medic and communicates his position to the plasma gun. The gunner can activate immediately after and can treat the spotted model as if it had engage order. Herlig activates after the spotter and moves to a position where he can better see the medic that was completely covered by the superior, then fires, 4 shots at 5+ for the injury. Double 6, not bad!
Double crit, that hurts! Saving with 2 dice at 4+ for the -1 penetration. 2 normal saves are enough to save a crit. Just 6 wounds through. Welcome to the 1 wound club, Teresa. Sister May activates. I spend 4 fate points to hit the superior using Blessed Rejuvenation twice, rolling 2d3, double 1. Apparently, she likes the pain. Then, she fires at the Zealot 4 shots at 3+, hitting 2 crits and a normal hit.
I would say it's useless to roll the dice in this case. Lucius finally leaves the battlefield, this time his fate has not saved him.
With the second action, Mary charges the spotter and then, since she eliminated an enemy, she can lead by example, and activate the Exactor next. Brigitte activates and fights with the enemy leader, making 5 attacks at 3+, hitting 3 crits and 1 normal hit.
Todd responds with 4 attacks at 3+, 2 critical hits and 2 normal hits.
The Exactor starts first and deals damage with the crit.
Todd is about to die, so he uses a critical attack to deal damage.
And finally, Sister Brigitte eliminates the opponent with her whip.
It's not your time to leave yet. I use a command point for the tactical ploy in Death Atonement, which allows me not to remove the model until the end of the next activation, and moreover, it doesn't count as injured. Todd, you have a job to do. My leader activates and starts again the combat with the Exactor, trying to take her with him to the grave. 4 attacks at 3+. That's it! Just a critical hit is enough.
It's okay, Brigitte. You can join your sisters.
Having been stunned, Todd has 1 less action available, so he can't do anything more. Now you can go. You have done your task with honor to the end.
Elizabeth, it's your turn. Don't fail me. She aims at the Cadian in front of her and shoots 4 shots at 3+. 3 normal hits.
5+ to defend. Ah, only 1 saved. 4 wounds suffered by Torvi. Here are your rewards. Torvi is injured, but she can still try to do something good. In pain, the Cadian moves alongside the objective and with a good view of the door, then shoots the Reliquarius. 4 shots at 5+ for the injury. Perfect! 2 hits!
Saving with 3 dice at 3+. Oh, come on! Fortunately, Sister Teresa is there. Again. And Sister Ellen dashes to safety. The Hospitaller then proceeds to heal her friend. D3 wounds. Just 1. Okay.
The sniper has no targets inside, so I have to play it cunningly. He changes the order in engage and leaves the objective 3 to reach objective 2.
Sister Ginevra tries to eliminate the plasma, making 4 shots at 3+. Rerolling thanks to Faithful Blessing, 2 normal hits.
I need 5+ to save him. There we go, only 2 wounds inflicted, so Herlig is left with 1 wound.
To avoid an overwatch, the Dialogus charges him.
Now that objective 2 is under the sniper's control, the Confidant can leave his position to go and contest objective 1.
Sister Margaret drops the flag within 6 inches from the enemy drop zone, revealing Malasta Cope, Plant Banner. Then, with movement and dash, she barely manages to reach the objective 3, securing it.
Having no other models to activate, the Confidant does Overwatch on the Condemnor, making 4 attacks at 5+. No, never mind.
The last operative to activate is Sister Ellen, that charges the Cadian to contest the objective 1.
Now, here's an interesting fact. At the end of the 4th round, both Andrea and I have 3 points from the Dark Corps. Also, I control Objective 2, which gives me 4 victory points, while Andrea controls Objectives 3 and 4, which give him 2 points each. The Objective 1 is contested. This means that we are both with 7 victory points. This match ends in a draw.
Well, I did wanted to win, but with how the last 2 rounds went, I'm okay with the draw. I think that the MVP of this game is without doubts the Hospitaller. She managed to keep alive the Sister Superior, the Reliquarius, twice, survived the Plasma and held the Objective 4 until the end. I enjoyed Into the Dark really much, and I feel that the missions are a lot more fun than the previous version of Kill Team.
It will seem strange, but I'm happy that the game ended in a draw. It was really nice to play and intense. Into the Dark seems to promise a lot of great games. I think I like it more than the old way of playing Kill Team. Narrow corridors, door mechanics and more interesting objectives make the game more hectic. I think I played the game well. I certainly enjoyed it. Can't wait to play the next game. And with this we conclude. If you like our content and want to help us grow the channel, we have an account on the platform Buy Me a Coffee where you can support us with donations. Any help you can give us to improve the channel is welcome. We are counting on you. The link is in the description.
And if you have come this far, write the word return in the comments to let us know. You are the best. And if you are not yet subscribed, subscribe to the channel. If you liked the video, leave a like and write us in the comments. We are always curious to know what you think.
That's it, guys.
See you next video.